hey, hand position. I get a lot of questions about that a lot. If you watching me play right now, you would see that no matter what technique I'm using, I'm holding my hand in the exact same place. That gives me a ton of advantages that you don't have if you have a hand position per technique you use, right? Some people go strumming, we have one, of course you have to move your hand a little bit more than when you're picking, but then when we go from alternate picking, for instance, to sweep picking, we suddenly hold our hand in a completely different way. Or we go like this or whatever. And that really gives you, it's like you have to go from gear to gear, like in a car you have to press down the clutch, right? So you have to take a break in the driving and then shift gear and then go again. And that's how it feels when people, okay, here comes the sweep picking stuff. Do my sweep picking, and then I go to my alternate picking stuff, and then I have to, and so it becomes kind of compartments, yeah. So we got one technique here, and then I have to go shift gear, and I go to another technique. So it's kind of limiting, really. If you have the same hand position exactly for every technique you use when you solo, whether it be pinch harmonic, sliding, bending, whatever it is, then you don't have to move anywhere. So there's no shifting gear, which means that instead of compartments, you can play 2 notes with sweep picking, 3 notes with alternate picking, then do hammer-ons and pull-offs, and a little bit of sweep picking again. You can mix and blend everything into this fluent playing style. If you don't have to go from compartment to compartment, which is, going from gear to gear in a car. And so what do I recommend? Well, I modeled this from 3 guys. You can see that in the text below. You can also see some close-up pictures of exactly how I do it. You got like what is called a PC form bone. It's like a leftover bone we're not used for anything in your hand. If you go from your pinky and then where the wrist, the hand becomes the wrist, you'll find a little knuckle there that you can put where the low E string meets the bridge, and just find about that spot there. That's my hand position. And then I might move it a little bit around, like half a centimeter, like this. For those who, I don't know what that is in inches. That's why I'm trying to show you that it's a little bit of movement. But that's just to compensate for the fact that I got 6 strings here vertically that I have to pick, right? So I might move a little bit up and down, back and forth. Also when I do muting, palm muting, I'm just 1 millimeter, just a little bit. But I'm actually, when I'm picking, my hand is just ready to palm mute at any moment, which means that it's just a tiny little bit, so that it's not muting the strings. But I have to move it like nothing. It's just like an intention in the brain, and the hand moves just a tiny little bit, and that palm mutes a little bit already. You can't see the movement in my hand. That's because I'm so close all the time to palm muting. And a good way to learn the right hand position, is mute all the time. Just have a little bit of muting going on, a little bit of palm mute. A little bit of alimiola all the time. Right? A little bit of that going on all the time for an extended period of time, like 2 months. You just keep on doing it, and then you stop doing it. But then the stopping is just, you can't see it almost because it's so small, right? But then from here, you practice everything, and you refuse to go down and do tricks and weird positions in order to make something happen, because this is actually the optimal picking position. It's in our conquest to find a shortcut that we come up with weird ways of holding the pick and positioning the hand, and that shortcut ends up being a limitation. That's why we don't want to go there, right? And I went there a lot of times in my development, right? I tried to make a picking happen by slanting, angling, whatever. And then I could, I'm playing faster now. It's better. Stop. You can't go above this level with that shortcut, right? And then I had to go all the way back again, unlearn the thing I did so I could push beyond that point. Happened every single time until I got it, until I stopped trying to figure out a way, until I really got how many repetitions this takes and how easy it is to put in these repetitions instead of all the hard work of trying to come up with a shortcut of holding your hand in a shortcutty way that will give you results faster, which are not really the results you're after. It's an effect, right? You can use your whole arm to pick with, and then you can certainly not have that hand position. And you can emulate something that sounds like fast playing, but it's gonna mess up your elbow. You won't really have any skills. It's just like an effect, right? And you have to unlearn it once you want to really start alternate picking with accuracy and precision. So keep your hand there. I modeled it for these three guys, and much more people using it, and it really gives you that relaxed feeling. You know, you're just in control here. It's just it's natural. Again, the last point here, if you have your hand floating, you know, with no anchor in the pisiform bone, or you use your pinky, you know, the reference point from, you know, if you close your eyes, where's your hand? If this is your, you know, somewhere you put your pinky here, and you got kind of a whole elasticity in your hand, so where's your hand? Can you, with your eyes closed, hit the G string? If this is your reference point, right? Reference point. If this is your reference point, you put your PC bone there and you practice hour after hour with the same freaking hand position. Then gradually, pretty quickly actually, you learn where the strings are without looking. Of course you do. But if you place your hand in a new place every single time, then you will never learn where they are. You have to look all the time. Right? You have to look at the strings, because if you have a reference point like here, bam! You know exactly where you are. You know exactly how to mute it. You push it a little bit. You can take your hand away. And then find your reference point again and again and again. It's everywhere. It's the whole arm here. You know, it's how you melt together with this instrument. So my warmest recommendations for taking your pisiform bone, placing right there before you start practicing, and then once in a while checking in as you practice whether you moved up here or down there. So you establish the same reference point, a relaxed technique, without having a special positioning of your right hand for each picking technique. It has the most amount of advantages, and as such, it is the biggest shortcut when it comes to hand position of gaining control over any technique.